Buenos dias, Year 2. I thought I'd try and mix up the ways I say good morning because I'm getting fed up with my own voice saying good morning, Year 2. So buenos dias is the Spanish way of saying good morning. Our fact of the day for today is 6 times 5. So we're carrying on with the 5 times table. So the picture shows you 6 fives or 6 sets of 5 makes 30, and the array shows you 6 rows of 5 or 5 rows of 6. So if we turn it around, we can write 5 times 6 equals 30, and if we divide it, 30 divided into 6s is 5, and 30 divided into 5s is 6. If we want to make it a bit bigger, I always like to make the 50 bigger, the 5 bigger. So it's 6 times 50 would be 300. And if you think of that as 50p's, 6 50p's would be £3. And we can swap it round the other way to do 50 times 6 is 300, or we can add the 0 on the other side. So let's have 5 60s. That would be 300 as well. And let's divide the 300. We divide the 300 into 50s, we get 6. We can divide the 300 into 5s, and then we get 60. We could divide the 300 into 60s, and we'd get 5, or we could divide the 300, last one we can do, into 6s, and that will make 50. And we've been doing some that are a little bit bigger, haven't we? So let's do 15 times 6. Remember, to work out that one, you need to partition the 15. So you need 10 times 6, and you need 5 times 6. So you work out those two, and then you add them up, and that will give you 15 times 6. So that is the challenge one in the corner. So make sure you've written those ones in your book. Remember, this array, you can have a go at drawing that using the squares, is to help you divide. So if you're dividing it by 6, you'd go that way, and if you're dividing it into 5, you'd go that way. Make sure you've recorded that neatly in your maths book. Today we're starting our new maths topic about fractions. Now, a fraction is a part of a whole, and here we've got written the names of some different fractions. So you might have heard some of these before. Half, a quarter, sometimes people call that a fourth, a third, and a whole, which means 1. So we're going to be exploring different types of fractions. It could be a fraction of a number, it could be a fraction of a shape, it could be a fraction of a thing. Now, you've probably heard the word half before, because often we cut things in half. So this is one orange that's been cut into 2 bits, and we write the fraction half 1 over 2. 2 tells you how many bits there are, and 1 tells you how many of those bits. So that is there 1/2 of an orange. And if we look at that with a shape, here's a whole shape, a whole circle, and that is half the circle. So there are 2 bits of the circle, and this is 1 of those bits. So this time we've got 1 orange, and it's been divided into 4 bits. So if you've got 1 of those bits, it's 1/4 or 1/4. And here's a picture of a circle that's been divided into 4 bits. There are 4 parts, and 1 of those bits means 1/4. This is a picture of a pie, and this time it's been divided into 3 bits. So there are 3 bits to the pie. So 1 of those bits, just that bit there, would be 1/3 of the whole pie. And that's the same with the circle. So there's 3 bits of the circle, one bit of the circle would be 1/3. What do you think the other two bits would be? If the green bit is 1/3, what would these two bits be? They would be 2/3, because it's 2 out of 3. Now what I want you to do now is we're going to have a go at making some fractions. So you need a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be blank, so it could be one of the worksheets from your pack that you think, oh, I'm never going to get around to doing that one, because some of them were quite similar, all the practicing of the times table. So you could use one of those, or if you've got a blank piece of paper, you can use that. It has to be paper really, not card, because we're going to do some folding to make our own set of fractions. I don't want you to start folding your piece of paper now, because I'm going to show you an actual film of me doing it. So wait until you've seen that film. But this is just going to show you how you're going to be dividing your piece of paper. So you're going to start off with one whole piece of paper, and then we're going to have a go at making halves, dividing it in halves. Then we're going to try and get a quarter, and then we're going to fold it again, and we're going to have eighths. And then we're going to fold it again to make 16ths. And then if you're really strong, you might be able to fold it again. I'm not going to tell you what that one is yet. So the names of the fractions we're going to make, and you're going to write these on the bit. So get a big felt tip pen to write them in so they show up. You're going to make a half. You're going to make a quarter. And you've got to do this by folding, not just by drawing the lines on like I've just done. We're going to make an eighth, a 16th, and then I'm going to see if any real clever clogs can work out what the teeny tiny one will be. So watch the film now, and then you're going to have a go at making your own. Right, I'm going to start with one whole piece of paper. So I'm going to write on that one whole. So that's going to be the whole that we're going to then divide into fractions. So if you fold your piece of paper in half, just like if you're making a birthday card or a Christmas card, you've now got a half. And if we open it out again, there's one half and there's the other half. So if you get the half and then you fold that in half, then you've got a quarter. 1/4 or 1/4, which is the same thing. And then if you open it out, you can see there are the 4 quarters. So what do you think will happen if I fold the quarter in half? How many bits will there be altogether? If we open it out, we'll be able to count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So fold it all back up again. That will now be 1/8. And if you fold the 1/8 in half, how many bits of the whole are we going to have now? Quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that last little bit we had there was a 16th. It was 1 out of 16 altogether. And if you're super strong and can fold that in half, you might have to really press down hard. The challenge is, what is that? How much of the whole is that little bit? So if that piece of paper was the whole, I've got another one just to show the whole. That is half of the whole. I've cut them out so we can put them in order. That's 1/4 of the whole. Then we've got an 1/8. Move them along a bit. We had a 16th. And then we've got the ones that we don't know yet. We've got that one. And right on the end, we've got that one. So your challenge is to try and work out what those might be. See if you can work out what the pattern is in the numbers. Your TRP is, can I make and label a set of fractions? So follow the instructions that I just did. Find a piece of paper, fold it, and then cut them out and line them up just like I did. And the little tiny one that I made at the end, this one here, I actually made by cutting that one in half. So you can make smaller ones, but it's really hard to work out what fraction they would be. You get into some very big numbers very quickly. So good luck with those.